Let's go! How about it? Them bad news birds, baby. Jake, months ago, do you remember a morning like this? I straggled into the studio on a hope and a prayer, fresh off a defeat to the Phoenix Suns, and I told you it was not a time of mourning. It was a minor setback for a major new beginning. And make no mistake, you witnessed that beginning last night. Brandon Ingram cooked Kevin Durant. The bad news birds are back, baby. Zion, CJ, Ingram, Willie Green. Let's go, boys. 1-0. You can't go 82-0 unless you go 1-0. Flock, the flock up. Jake, are you feeling it? Give me one, Stephen A. Oh, give me one.
No, you just made me feel it.
Oh!
My God, with that flock up, that second one, I felt it. Woo, got a little nervous there.
Damn. What?
I'm pumped. That got me pumped.
Oh, my God.
Call. Let's go, dude. All right. What a game. What a game. What a season debut. But Mario's right, man. Look, it is months ago. We kind of did this same bit. Granted, I was in a much weirder headspace after spending a night at Harrah's and driving over here after like 2 hours of sleep. But we did this, and we said at the time, today is not a day for being all hangdog and sad. It was a hell of a season. It's a season that marks a new beginning. That's something to build off of. Well, Jake, what you saw last night, you know what you saw? Classic sports thing here. You saw a team versus a group of individuals. And I don't care how talented those group of individuals are, the team always dominates. You know what's even more badass, though? When you have a team that is also supremely talented. I mean, Brandon Ingram, it used to be a meme. Now he is the new Kevin Durant. I mean, the way that he was rising up over people, his shot, he is the new unblockable. Because we know Durant's not unblockable because, well, Herb Jones blocked him last night. Blocked a Durant three-point attempt from the corner, which is insane and should be impossible. And to me, the craziest thing about all of this, boys, and Mario, you remember, I'm a Pelican apostate. I eventually got broken at the beginning of end of 2 years ago, beginning of last season. I was a broken man. I had left the church. I had to find my way back. The prodigal son, they welcomed me back with open arms. But I feel like I have seen hundreds of Pelicans games where they jump out to a big first quarter lead. Maybe they even carry it through half. And then immediately when the third quarter starts, it all crumbles. Or maybe even push it to the fourth. And then you have Eric Gordon just like kick a ball out of bounds and you end up losing in the fourth quarter. Like, I've seen this story play out 10,000 times. And so I don't know what if technically this is true or not, but I don't think that the Nets ever got within 10 again, did they? Like, did they ever get down to single digits? I know they got it to 10.
Not in the second half. They got it to 8 at halftime.
There you go. See, but functionally, not really, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you basically led and held on to a lead and finished the game with a double-digit lead the entire night. That makes me giddy.
And it was on the road.
On the road against a team that has like really good championship odds.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that they're dysfunctional and a joke and hilarious and fun to make fun of, but like they're supposed to be really good. And you just kicked their ass like it was nothing.
It did. And all the pieces were kind of showing out. Like, we've talked about the starters and we've talked about what they had on the bench. And obviously, like, the Zion factor, like, we can certainly get into that and what he brought to the team. But you signed Larry Nance, right, as a bench piece. He gets 9 rebounds.
How about it?
Right. Jose Alvarado kind of goes to continue doing what he always does, right? You have Trey Murphy, who Mario's talked a lot about. He hit 4 threes last night. So, like, all the pieces outside of the starters that we were excited about showed out last night.
Bro, Trey Murphy in 24 minutes had 16 and 9. 9. But then, he grew like 2 inches in the offseason, right? Isn't he up to like 6'11" or something
he
now?
He gained like 15 pounds of muscle, too. You can tell. He looks a lot bigger.
And how tall is he now? He's like closing in on 7 feet, isn't he?
Yeah, he grew a couple inches, like you said.
How's that happen?
Because NBA players are so young. That's what you always got to remember, right? Like, they're still like 19, 20. Like, you can still be growing at that point. Yeah, Aaron, so...
I've been as high since I was like 13.
I was about to say, there's been some confusing things going on lately. Aaron Murray is trying to claim that his shoe size grew 1 whole size at age 31, that he had to buy all new shoes. I told him I think that's probably indicative of a health problem.
Yeah, he might have some gout going on.
That's what I'm saying. That feels like gout or like diabetes or something. But I don't know, dude. Sure, dude. I guess you can grow. But Trey Murphy does not have gout. Or diabetes.
It is not.
He's just young.
Probably eating a lot of shrimp, but not gout.
And he got way, way taller. Okay, so you're right. Like, the bench, you actually have depth. It's incredible. But you got to start after, okay, there's so many ways that we could start. I guess my brain immediately goes to the big 3. There were so many questions about how's BI and Zion going to play together, how they're going to operate on the court together, what happens to Jonas and that kind and then CJ
McCollum. Like, we hadn't seen him with Zion.
Yeah, CJ's the big 3 there. I just got on a tangent through in Jonas because he's big and like
he's
how's
a top
he gonna
100
fit
player.
In? Yeah. The point is, your big 3 kicked ass last night. CJ goes for 21, 4, and 6. Kind of operates the whole shebang. Zion, in his first action back, didn't miss a beat. I mean, how good is this guy? You miss that much NBA basketball and you step in and go for 20, 25, 9, and 3. Like it's nothing. Make it look easy. And then Brandon Ingram, who, Mario, I'll let you talk about because I agree with you. He is the story. Brandon Ingram, 28, 7, and 5, and out there looking like a warrior poet while doing it. I love wild, natural hair look Brandon Ingram. He just looks so freaking cool. He looks like the guy at the bar that looks all mysterious that you want to hang out with because he's just got this sense of cool confidence, a kind of belief in himself. And that is now translating to the basketball court. Mar, how about BI last night?
He's my favorite player. I was telling Danny, like, he gets better and better every year. And the first year he got here, the team got off to a horrible start, 6-22. He became an all-star that season. And he's gotten better and better ever since. He had the playoff success last year, and now you see him coming into his own as a leader a little bit. Before the show, I broke down a possession on defense where Valanciunas didn't communicate to Ingram. Ingram wanted to go underneath the screen. He wasn't able to. Mills hit a 3, and he just screamed to Valanciunas, like, hey, you got to communicate that to me.
Yep.
And that's not a young guy he's screaming at. That's not Trey Murphy. That's not Herb. Like, that's something Brandon Ingram would not have done in prior years. And as good as he's been, he's continuing to get better. And by the end of the season, he's going to be scary, scary good.
Yeah, I mean, last night, it's one game, but last night he looked like an all-NBA, not an all-star. Obviously, he looks like an all-star. He looks like an all-NBA player, potentially. And make no mistake, this Pelicans team, while it was a local broadcast, and I'm so bummed because I actually had a lot of fun watching a lot of their twists with everybody, but it meant I couldn't really hear AD and Joel. I mean, Joel has gone through it, y'all. You know, he's had to call so many disappointing games and tried to sell you on buying the 6-game family package to like the December games that nobody wanted to go to. And now this man gets to call them beating up the Nets 131-08. A sold-out crowd in the Smoothie King Center already, I believe, on Sunday.
Yes.
Yes. Shout out to our boys, Joel and AD. They have arrived. But even though it was local, in terms of broadcast, they made a national statement. I mean, you saw NBA talking heads and personalities and analysts all being like, okay, dude, okay, we see you. Norris, including noted NBA personality Flea, the bassist for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and noted Star Wars star after the Obi-Wan series, who said, what do you say, the Pelicans are a beautiful basketball team?
Yes, they're a beautiful basketball team to watch.
And who does Flea actually cheer for? The Lakers.
Does he?
So, of course, he thinks they look beautiful because, again, we are talking about a team versus a group of individuals. And let's not get out of here without giving Willie Green his roses, because he is the one who has made this all work from a belief standpoint, from a team chemistry standpoint, from a usage standpoint, figuring out how these guys are going to operate on the court together. Just a fantastic night, man. Fantastic night.
So can I interest you in the 7-3, like Mario and I are hoping for in the first tip?
I'm not going there yet, but it looks much more real now than it did previous to this game.
I don't know, man. I'm a lot more optimistic. Like, I was a little worried, honestly, coming into this game that the Pelicans would eat the cheese a little bit, like Sean Payton used to say, young team, maybe be a little full of themselves. But god dang, they looked like they were on a mission, dude. So I have no reason to believe that it won't continue.
It is shockingly similar to how I'm sure Suns fans felt coming out of the bubble, where they go on that run to end the season in the same way their season ends in disappointment, but it kind of was a sign of growth and things to come, and that's exactly how last night felt.
Very similar from a fan's point of view. Like you've been saying, you want to temper expectations a little bit. Like they're trying to make playoffs back-to-back for the first time since 2009. 13 years, but they're good enough to go farther than the first round, possibly even the second round.
I mean, the only thing, and the thing about it is the only thing on the stat sheet that really jumps out as maybe like a bit of an outlier, you did shoot 46% from three. And so that's probably, it's going to be tough to keep that pace, impossible to keep that pace over the course of a year, but you do have very good three-point shooters. And so it's not like you're going to be awful at that ever. I think the rebounds are totally replicable. You out-rebound him 61-39. I mean, Jonas is a beast on the boards. Like you said, Trey Murphy's got height. Now Brandon Ingram's got height. Zion Williamson will always get you, around like 8 to 10 at least. So, that's the other part about this. It didn't feel fluky. It wasn't somebody going off that's not going to go off again. Like, there's nothing fluky about Brandon Ingram hitting that little turnaround jumper where he just skies 14 feet in the air and you can't reach it because it's like you're not Mrs. Incredible, right? Or Dr. Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four. Like, how in the hell are you supposed to get up that high to block that shot? Unless you're Herb Jones, who once again blocked. Who was, somebody in the chat said it, Herb was, with 6 points, Herb was plus 34. Shout out Mark65MC in the Body Ford YouTube chat. Plus 34, dude. How about it?
Best contract in the NBA. I've been saying it from the beginning of the season. Herb Jones.
Every starter for the Pelicans, Zion plus 13, Brandon Ingram plus 24, Jones plus 34, Valanciunas plus 28, CJ plus 23. Damn. I mean, every single one of them.
Damn.
I was impressed with Jonas, man. There's a lot of talk with the fit with him and Zion, and he's not the most athletic dude, but there's no wasted motion. He's so sound on both sides of the floor, and that's why you see him get so many offensive rebounds. I mean, the Pelicans as a team had, 36 second chance points.
Yeah, they got 21. They had 21 offensive rebounds to 9.
Second most in a game by any NBA team in the last 25 years with 36 second chance points.
Damn.
Yeah. That's
okay. That's maybe a bit of an outlier then, but
that's what Jonas does.
Yes. But you may not be second best the last 25 years, but you will always be good in that zone. Like you will beat teams consistently on the offensive glass. So what a fantastic night, boys. What a fantastic night. So where's it go? Tomorrow, Charlotte, and then Sunday, the Smoothie King Center, and it is going to be. It's already sold out, right?
Yeah.
It is going to be packed. It's going to be crazy. And I love it because for these players, again, and I know we're going long here and we should go to break, but I'm going to keep going for a little bit. What I never lose sight of, when I call these guys the bad news birds, it's because they are a group of outcasts. This truly is the island of misfit boys. Who wanted these guys? Nobody. That's how Brandon Ingram ended up here. That's how even C.J. McCollum got ran out of Portland. Scary Larry couldn't find a home for years. Jonas Valanciunas giving away time and time again. These players were cast-offs from one team or another.
Valanciunas is like a throw-in for a trade.
Just an afterthought.
Yeah. For Marc Gasol, who was towards the end of his career and wasn't even that good.
Just an afterthought. And yet, they all found their way to a city and a basketball team that has been an afterthought and a misfit and an outcast. And something about that chemistry just made it work. Yeah, they were working in the shadows. Nobody was going to the games. Nobody was talking about them. Nobody cared. They didn't care. They kept working. And then they needed their new leader. And very appropriately, it's not a leader who everybody knew about. It's not a coach who had rings. It's not a coach who had resume. It was a young coach given an opportunity. And Willie Green was the final alchemist to make all of those ingredients work. And now you have this group that has been bonded through adversity, through being told they weren't good enough, through being told they weren't that guy. And at the head of that sits Brandon Ingram, like Mario talked about yesterday. As a young 19-year-old man, he had to watch himself be lambasted and laughed at throughout the country. He had to watch Ben Simmons, the guy picked ahead of him, being celebrated. Well, how appropriate last night then Brandon Ingram looks like an all-pro and Ben Simmons fouls out in like 10 minutes. And I feel bad for Simmons. He's a broken individual. But what it is it's a sign of the pressure on these guys and how you can break, right? It can become too much. It never became too much for Brandon Ingram. He just kept grinding, kept working, and now the fruits of his labor are starting to ripen. And I'm so, so thankful to be here along for the ride. It's awesome, man.
That's the insult to injury for Lakers fans, too. They got their championship, cool, but the Pelicans got Brandon Ingram. And as a Pelicans fan, I'm so okay with that.
Also, like, I mean, is there ever a championship that feels less like a championship than the Mickey Mouse bubble championship? I mean, it's insane. There's the meme about the squeaky shoes, but it's so true. Like, can you really count it as a championship if you can hear the shoes squeaking on the floor in the post-game celebration? That's a very valid question. I don't know.